This short video looks at an exercise that I've labelled Forcefield 1. It's one of the few exercises that actually uses a metric to measure things in terms of whatever scale you want, really. Often it's used in terms of good to bad, and then we can take actions based on those scorings to see, firstly, what can we do to make things better, and perhaps secondly, tying this in with another exercise to determine how easy some of those actions might be to carry out. Let's have a look at it. So in simple terms, using Forcefield 1 is on a scored system. Now this one, for instance, you can see has got positive things on the left, negative stuff on the right. The good stuff is happening over this side, bad stuff on this side, what's happening on this project. Normally, of course, you might want the good stuff to be on this side and the bad stuff on that side. Let's not worry about that too much. So the first thing to do is we generate some data. So people brain dump the positive and the negative things that are happening, and they put them on the matrix, and according to how good or how bad they see them there. So for instance, things that's very bad on this one will be very high on the 10, and the good stuff over here is very high on the 10. And then you have to somehow decide which ones you're going to work on, because maybe you can't target all of these issues, but you can at least see them visually before you. And then once you decide which ones you're going to work on, you can create an action, and the action goes next to the basic data point. So that's nice and straightforward, and of course the action is hopefully going to move the score to a better score. We're going to explore Forcefield 1 using a Jamboard. So the way you would work this out is probably you would set up a Jamboard in advance to look a little bit like this. Now you notice I've changed the background here to give me a grid, because alignment matters in this exercise. This is just one of the few exercises that actually has a scoring system attached to it. So we have, as you can see, a scale that goes from -5 on one side to +5 on the other. And the question that we're looking at in this particular Jamboard is what is happening on this project. So the way that you would use this is you'd say to your people, okay people, what do you think is happening on this project? Let's generate some data, generate some post-it notes, and put them on here. And where you put them, of course, is reflective of how you feel about it. So let's say you get them to work in groups and they start to generate some data for you. We say everyone works well together. Great. So they might say that that's a really good thing, and people might put this now as a +3. See that size matters. And you want to get it small so that you can read it, but big enough so that you can populate lots of data in here. So everyone works well together. That's that. Technical architecture. Well, maybe that's wherever that may be, we don't know. Put that in a minute. Let's see, we've got leadership and direction. We've got, let's just say support from other teams. What else can make a difference? We've got laptops. This is a great one you often see come up with this kind of thing. Laptops. And we've got training. Let's put that in there as well. So we'd ask people to come up with their ideas, and then for them to put them wherever they thought they were. So maybe the training is, yeah, okay, that's over here. Leadership and direction. Well, actually, we're not very happy about that. Technical architecture, maybe that's not very good either. Support from other teams, well, often people say other teams are always the big problem. And laptops, again, where are we with things? Well, they're okay, but they could be better. So first thing is to get people to dump out the data, and you can have different groups creating the data set using different colour post-it notes possibly, or just ask them all to use the same colour, and then get each group to talk through what it is that they produced. Then after that, the next part of this is, well, okay, that's what things look like, and it gives you an overview. It's visual. If everything is over this side of the screen, that's pretty bad. If everything is over this side of the screen, maybe that's pretty good. In this instance, we've got a balance. But then we say, okay, well, what do we want to work on? Do we accept that because this one here is on +3, that we don't need to do anything about it? Or is there perhaps something we would like to do to help it move in this direction and go to a +5? Okay, well, let's think now. What we could do is say to groups and teams, I'd like you to go away, work in pairs. You guys look at technical architecture, you guys look at training, you guys look at laptop, and come back with some actions that we could do. So, for instance, here, let's say one of the actions might be enhance security software. Might be an action that would go with improving the laptops. Leadership and direction, maybe there's something that needs to be done around there, which would be a update on company vision, perhaps. Might be the kind of thing that you typically see in there. So you start to see actions that can be mapped against each one of these, with the intention again that that you could move it in this direction. So you could say, for instance, if we move that update there, well, how far would that improve things? Is it enough to put it right away over here and be a positive, in which case that's great, or if not, where does it need to go? So it's a simple tool to capture thoughts and ideas, and you can use it and rearrange it and rethink it to help you get the outputs that you need. So there you are, that's Forcefield 1. It's a nice way to capture things visually and yet also give them a score. And therefore some audiences like that, particularly if you have scientific or technical people in the room, they quite like the ability to be able to put a score against things. So just bear that in mind.